everyone, and welcome to today's Business Builders Podcast. My name is Tom Borg, and with me, I have a very special guest, Mr. Larry Klimek. Larry is president and founder of JKL Associates, and I'm going to let Larry tell you a little bit about what he does and how he does it. And we're going to launch into a very interesting topic today, and that is how to think about and really implement this concept of brand promise. Larry, welcome to the program.
Hey, Tom, I genuinely appreciate the opportunity to have conversation with you today, as well as, the folks out there who will hopefully benefit from our time with them today through your podcast.
I think they will. So Larry, tell me a little bit about you and your company, and go ahead.
Well, it's a humble beginning some 32 plus years ago. I left corporate America after having the privilege of being involved with in the high-tech industry, taking an organization from small to larger, where we took it through the initial public offering process, was involved in mergers and acquisitions and those things, and basically brought all of that corporate America stuff down to the small business sector, where we live and breathe on a day-to-day basis, helping business owners who maybe started a business. They bought themselves a job. And then we help them evolve to where they are an actual business owner, and then moving them through their growth to where their business becomes an asset, it's profit producing, and it becomes part of a financial portfolio for them. So it's really helping the owner take more than just a job out of their investment and making it an asset that is long-term production for not only them, but their family and all of the families that they touch that are part of their company.
Excellent. So you really help these business owners think through what they're doing and help them put it into action and really make something special out of this business they've created.
Yeah, and they're the experts in their world of business.
Mm-hmm.
We help give them framework, foundation. We make sure that they have the decision-making model, which helps them keep out of the distraction world, which is very easily something business owners get trapped up in, and keep them focused on the narrow success so that they can have repetitive results as opposed to jumping from one-time to one-time type success.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so easy to do when you're running your own business. So let me ask you, this business brand promise, what's that all about?
Well, we have over the last 30 plus years come to an appreciation that as business owners, whether we make overtly outward promises or whether they be internal to our own makeup, we make promises to our customers, to our vendors, to our employees, to the community. And what we want to do is we want to raise the level of acknowledgement that our promise culture model allows for them to seek out purpose, allows them to integrate vision built upon their core values that are lived, breathed, and truly become the decision-making model. With that, one of the things that we found, and we'll talk about today, is that the vocabulary that an organization uses needs to be a conscious discovery process so that it is consistent in delivering the brand message. That's the brand promise. When you go out into the marketplace and you are going to deliver on something, product, service, your customer has an expectation of what that's going to do for them, help them resolve some problem or enhance some pleasure they want. That brand promise is framed around the vocabulary, which needs to be consistent inside of your organization. These are the words, the nouns, the verbs, the phrases. So, for instance, JKL Associates, years ago, we came up with our tagline of your partner in progress. That has been part of our vocabulary since day one. And we use that as a thread by which we weave the tapestry of our relationship with all of our clients. And I look at vocabulary words as, again, that opportunity to weave the relationship, because business is relationships. We may transact with a service, we may transact by delivering a product, at the end of the day, people create a relationship with the company, with the brand. And that's where the brand promise comes through. If you're, a particular buyer of a certain product, a certain clothes manufacturer, a certain automobile manufacturer, a certain coffee provider, you have a relationship with that brand, and the promise that you are expecting from them is to deliver a consistent quality, a consistent product that you prefer. And to do that, the language that is behind that, not only internally but externally, I'm talking about vocabulary that resonates not just as a marketing process, but it is an internal energy that the vocabulary is lived.
Okay, so give me an example of one of your clients. You don't have to mention any names, but what are some of the terms they use, the words they use? How does this sound?
Well, one of my clients, their purpose statement is they help people do life.
Okay.
Now, that seems like a pretty broad statement, can cover a lot of things. Oddly enough, this entity is an auto mechanic shop.
Okay.
Most people would think their purpose is to fix your brakes. They have taken their purpose along with their core values, things like transparency, things like, doing it right the first time. These types of language they use and hold their team accountable to, so that the individual who brings their vehicle to them actually can count on them for that vehicle to get them back and forth to work. That's part of doing life.
Right.
Getting their kids to the soccer game, that's doing life. So they have taken the opportunity to raise the vocabulary and the mindsets of their staff to where, when they are working on an individual's car, whether it be fixing a flat tire, whether it be changing the oil, whether it be more significant, brakes, or the emergency systems that are on all of our digital cars these days, it's because they are directly involved with helping that individual do life. So the language has become a part of their internal mantra of why they exist as an organization.
Okay, so I heard you say the words, do it right the first time. What are some of the other phrases they use?
Well, again, it's not the quantity of phrases, it's the quality of the phrases. So, in their case, they don't have a litany of, 100 phrases.
Right.
They're going to stay with, that we do it right the first time. We help you do life. And so they don't have their employees or their customers having to wonder what they are about. And this is a good example where, when organizations, it's been our experience where organizations will have core values. They'll be communicated, but they won't be lived. Or they will have some idea of what the products can do or the services do, but they don't narrow in on exactly the language. So we did an experiment not too long ago where we talked to an owner about, describe the business, and the business owner gave us this great articulated picture, and we formulated it in our mind. And then effectively I said, okay, let's go talk to one of your salespeople. We went and talked to the salesperson, and although they gave us another very good picture, it wasn't the same picture. There were some gaps between. Now, there were some similarities, but there were also some gaps. And I had also done a little bit of pre-research looking at their website. And so we sat down, we started taking a look at their language and what the website was saying. And again, it's not that any of the pictures were wrong. They just weren't consistent in the message. So now, if I'm a consumer of their product, I'm getting 3 different messages. And so we aren't sure whether or not the person who we are addressing, the message that we have given, meets one of their potential needs.
Sure. So you have different customers getting different impressions and different expectations of your company and what they can do for them.
I mean, one of the things I also want to caution is that by doing this, I mean, think of it like, the dollar bill, I know that we don't, that's kind of a strange thing to say because not much happens for a dollar, but the impression that's made to create a dollar bill is exactly the same every time.
Mm-hmm.
How that dollar bill is spent is different.
Mm.
Okay. We do need to understand having a consistent vocabulary does not take away from creativity of the people that use the language.
Mm-hmm.
Because we want our salespeople that flexibility to be able to take our language and add their own personal style and to wrap it around the relationship that they're creating to create that intimate long-term relationship. But we have a consistency of the important language which follows through the entire stream of first contact all the way through, the end of a relationship.
Sure. Okay. So what would you say in terms of the companies that are out there? Let's say when we talk about whether small business, big business, but let's say small business, how many of them actually have a vision, a brand promise that they actually have written up and that they communicate to the rest of their team?
But it's a challenging question, but because I look at it a little differently or maybe a little deeper. There are many organizations which have over some course of time taken the time to craft a vision statement. They've taken the time to craft maybe some core values or principle statements that they're going to theoretically run their business by, and they post them in the lobby, or they're on some of their collateral material for sales. I would say that many organizations, many isn't a percentage, but many have some form of that. They may call it purpose, they may call it vision, they may call it mission, they may call it any number of languages out there.
Yeah,
Again, there's an inconsistency out there.
Sure.
But it's the ones that are willing to take those and not just use them for branding material to the outside customer, but to live and breathe them and make all decisions based upon them inside of the organization. I want, when I work with our clients, the objective is to get them to use that framework as the foundation on which the profitability builds.
Now,
and I have a good example. Would you like an example? So I have an example where I have a client who will keep their industry and their name protected, but sure. they are, they're selling a service into the market space, and they're fairly significant. They're almost 100 employees. Multi-million-dollar, covering a geographical region that stretches multiple states and the like. They are part of a larger service company, nationwide and even worldwide. They had a salesperson who was outstanding. I mean, just, really knocking down the numbers. And unfortunately, the employee violated one of the company's core values. Now, this individual who is a salesperson, not only generating significant profit dollars for the organization, but was going to be recognized as one of the leaders in the nation, on an overall sales basis. The owner had to terminate the relationship with that employee because of the violation of the core values.
Actually terminated him.
Yeah.
Wow.
The owner said, I'm either in this for core values and I'm going to live, and my company is going to execute to this platform, or I'm gaming myself and my company. And so this is where, when we start talking about how many organizations have them versus how many organizations live to them and are willing to make hard decisions, that's where it gets that community gets very small, unfortunately, very fast.
Yes.
Because too many people will trade off revenue or values.
Oh, sure. Seen that so often.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the question's great, Tom. I don't have a statistical number, because I don't have the time to do research like that, but the reality is I look at my clients and I have the pleasure and the honor and privilege for working with owners, and to a degree, it's part of who we are as an organization. You know, one of our core values as an organization is, you know, authenticity, being authentic and being accountable to that. Our clients recognize that, they understand that. We're tough on them, but we're always going to respect them. And the fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, they appreciate it because they grow their bottom line profitability because of the culture that exists inside of their company.
Larry, I know today with so many companies depending on some form of automated customer response systems where, you know, if you have a concern, you go to their website and you email them. It's hard to even phone them nowadays because you'll get a recording that'll encourage you to go to the website. So how does this blur the picture when we talk about values and talk about being true to really servicing our clients? When you have this automated system in place that actually can create some distance between that client and that company, especially when they're having issues and they're trying to get them resolved. How would you address that?
You know, Tom, it is a challenge today because the market space has imposed some talent restrictions. And so businesses have had to become innovative, creative, so that they can at least build temporary bridges that have become permanent bridges. You know, coming out of the pandemic, you know, many organizations had to pivot. And they made many very difficult decisions to survive. The challenge is now going back and having the time to evaluate those pivots or those changes that we institutionalize while in an emergency situation, and do they still contribute to our purpose, to our core values today, when we were to a degree forced. You know, if you're on a sinking ship, you have to make choices because.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Right.
So, but when you are on dry land, you need to reevaluate the decisions that were made in haste and an emergency scenario. Do they and are they who you are as an organization? And so today, some of the automation that is very productive. I mean, I have a client in the technology sector that does those systems. And, you know, we constantly have the dialogue about, as valuable as that automation is, you know, what is your audience wanting? And we have to be cautious because maybe people of our station in life want to hear a voice.
That's right.
There is other levels of generations we must respect who don't need that.
Right.
And that's not that that's right or wrong. We need to, you know, if we're going to be have an inclusive mindset on many things, we need to also consider the needs of our audience.
That's right.
So when you talk about you know, having language, again, bringing it back to vocabulary, we need to understand sometimes vocabulary is the absence of words.
Yeah.
And so when we think about that and we think about these automated tools where you dial in, I mean, I sometimes become agitated, not frustrated, but agitated that I can't get to a resolution, because in my world, I put the time on my calendar to get this fixed. So this is my time.
That's right.
I am imposing on them, and, you know, I'm expecting them to have it on their calendar when they didn't even know I was calling. So we have to look at some of the digital stuff as a bridge, but that's part of how you communicate with your customer.
That's right.
It's how you vocabulary. We have a dial-in phone number. We have a chat room. We also have a support line. Understand that our support line is part of our bigger system, and that, it may take a little bit longer because of, our talent pool being available, but we will talk to you if you want a conversation. That's communicating to your customer the various portals by which they can get access.
Yeah, giving them that option.
Yeah, let them know that you have these various portals.
Sure.
And the ramifications of those portals. If you want to speak with someone, yes, there is a channel there. Get that set up and let them know about it. I mean, the biggest thing is our communication needs to be communicated.
Great point. Great point. Larry, if you were to leave one concept or idea with our listeners here today, what would be the one thing you'd want them to take away?
Well, I'm a colleague of mine, a gentleman by the name of Brandon Schaefer. He has a thing that he refers to as his 5 V's. And Brandon has done very valuable service for me, allowing me to participate with him in again, providing this into the market space. And his 5 V's are: have a vision, know what direction you're headed, have values, know what they are and live to those, understand the vocabulary of your organization, understand what are the vehicles or the true products and services that you have that are helping people do something. And then make sure you understand the value of doing those things in terms of the profitability of your organization. So if you think about vision and values and vocabulary and the vehicles and the valuation, if you can frame to that, then you have a platform that everyone in the organization is on, and you have an ability to have a tapestry of success.
Outstanding. Look, if our listeners want to get a hold of you, I'll put it up on the screen, but if they're just listening here today, what's the best way to get a hold of you and contact information?
Well, as we said earlier, we have a few portals.
Okay, that's what I like.
You can always go out to our website, and we have a contact us page, and you can put in something there, and it'll end up in our inbox so that we can respond that way. Additionally, if you go out to our website, you can schedule a meeting right with us. Look at your calendar, look at our calendar.
What's that website?
www.jklassociates.com.
Okay.
And you can go right out there and you can schedule a meeting that fits on your calendar so that we can talk one-on-one. We can do it on the telephone. We can do it, via Zoom. Use. And we also have phone numbers, by the way. We still do answer our phone.
Phone numbers, great. What might that be?
So, we have offices both in Michigan and in Florida. So you can call either one. They find us. In Michigan, 313-527-7945. And in Florida, 407-984-7246.
Excellent. All right. Well, listen, Larry, we got to have you back on this program because I think we're just scratching the tip of this iceberg. So look forward to having you back here again. But in the meantime, thanks for being with us. I know our listeners picked up some valuable insights today, and they'll probably want to re-listen to this a couple times because there's so much content. Thank you so much.
And Tom, thank you for doing this for the folks that are out there. This is the type of stuff that in small bites, we do have the opportunity to eat the elephant.
That's right. Thank you.